My peeps, happy Friday. Folks, how you doing? It's later than usual. I know it is. It's 5 o'clock Friday. Fitness Focus Freedom Friday. Fitness Focus Freedom Friday. I think I got the fitness part down because as you can see, I'm already soaking wet here. It's warm. It's warm. It's 93 out, so it's cooler actually than it's been. Um, just got done mowing the lawn, trimming the yard. Had a nice cigar. Had a adult beverage to reward myself. Um, Fitness, my foot. So my foot is continuing to get better and better and better. It's been 2.5 weeks, I guess. My foot is continuing. Every day I get up, I look down, and it looks better than it looked the morning before. But as soon as I put my weight on it, it splits open like you're cooking a hot dog, and it's going to take a little bit more time, I think, before it is ready for prime time. Now, I say ready for prime time. I already raced with the foot in this condition, and for those of you that are out of the know, I smashed my foot a couple weeks ago between the lawnmower and our mailbox post, and split the thing open. I thought for sure I was going to lose a toe. Did not lose a toe. And like I said, day after day, it is continuing to get better and better and better. So I'm very, very thankful. I'm very thankful. I'm grateful. Um, it's perspective. There's things that we could do. We could look at these things that happen to us and go, "Oh, woe is me, and I can't believe something else went wrong." I'm telling you, I'm thankful I didn't lose a toe. I'm thankful it didn't get infected. I'm thankful for a lot of things. Um, I feel like a moron running a lawnmower into the mailbox post and getting my foot stuck like that. But we live, we learn, we keep going. It's been such an interesting week. I had a client meeting earlier this week, someone that's just starting out, that's getting going. They've run into a couple of stumbling blocks, and they confessed to me in a face-to-face meeting, "Hey, I'm really thinking about just hanging up, just tossing in the towel, man. I'm thinking about hanging this thing up." Whoa, 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 hang on. And I'm kind of direct. I was like, "Well, you've already bought inventory, right? So you've already bought inventory, and you've already paid me, and you've already paid for a show that you're going to be in to sell this inventory. So you've already paid for these three things." Um, I got news. There ain't no money coming back. So you've already spent it. So do this. Give yourself a 3-month commitment. Do not make business decisions based off of emotions or feelings. Make business decisions based off of what you've been doing for the last year getting ready for this. You've developed your business, you've bought inventory, you've got stuff getting shipped in, you bought access to the show, you hired me to make the website. You've done all of these things with mental power, right? Not feelings, but you've done this through thinking it through and pursuing and making things happen. And this happens a lot with new businesses, with new business owners. They get to the launch. They get to where it's do or die, and they think it's do or die. It's not do or die. This is it. This is your launch. And there's a lot of feelings that come up through this launch process. And if anything goes wrong, our quickest instinct is this was a mistake. I'm going to get out of this. That to me is the devil talking in your other ear. When these feelings, when these thoughts occur, I try to encourage people. And this is what I spoke to this client about. I said, I need you to make a commitment to yourself for the next 90 days, right? You got to give it 3 months. You got to give it 3 months. Give it all your effort for 3 months. You've got a full-time job. You have income. Like, this isn't like if this doesn't work next week, you're going to be homeless. It's not that situation. This is a situation where you're launching a side gig. You would love for your side gig to be your full-time gig. I get that. And maybe you're impatient and you're thinking, well, I was going to launch this month and I thought I'd quit my job in September. That's not real. Like, we see, the bros on YouTube talk about, all in or all out, make up your mind. What are you going to do? We got to get real. In today's economy, if you have a full-time sustainable job, you have a job. you have a job. And then you can launch this thing. You can take your time, think it through, do it right, do the things that you know are correct. Don't make decisions in a panic, make decisions with thought and forethought. And so we met, and the meeting was supposed to be 30 minutes. I think it took more like an hour and a half. We actually ended up praying together, which I don't force this on anybody, but if I am meeting with a client and they're like-minded, like they're people of faith, as I'm a person of faith, I go, hey, you know what? Let's just pray. Let's just pray about it. You know, if this will put you at ease, how can we get this going to the next step? How do we get to the next thing without overwhelming you? Right? It's this wellness thing is huge. And that's why I do this Fitness Focus Freedom Friday talk, because I really believe that my business, my own experience, my business has grown as a result of taking care of myself, resting when I need to rest, getting fitness when I need to get fitness. Like if I need to go for a mountain bike ride, I'm going for a mountain bike ride. If I'm going to go for a road bike ride, I'm going for a road bike ride. If I need to go sit in the backyard with a cup of coffee, my dog, and a cigar, I'm going to go do that. Like there are so many ways that we can take care of ourselves. And I encourage people to do that. So Fitness Focus Freedom Friday. Focus. What a week. What a week it's been. We have 3 ongoing projects right now. Now I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, oh my God, I thought he was a successful agency. I thought he had 100. You don't need 100 projects to be a successful agency, right? You need to, cash flow, right? Timing, all these things. And so we have 3 active projects right now. We've got a couple of contracts that are outside of that scope, and that's different. But I'm talking about the 3 main projects that we're working on right now. We met with each of our 3 clients just this week. And I got to tell you, the focus is there. Like each of the 3 is on target. Granted, one I had to talk into giving themselves a 3-month commitment to find success. But as far as the project goes, we're on target. So Fitness Focus Freedom Friday, fitness and focus are done. Like we're looking great. I'm feeling fit. I'm working on my foot. It's getting healthier and healthier. I'm still getting out and doing things. Like I did yard work today, mowed the lawn, like still doing things. We had someone come by this week and cut down this dead tree in our yard. We had like a 50-foot Scott pine, and it died last year. And could it have stayed up for another 2 or 3 years? I'm sure it could have, right? But why? Why do that? It's dead. So, we had a guy come and cut down the tree. Now, if you listen to me on the Agency Action Show, today I just was talking to Toby and I said, hey, you know what? Let's talk about how to grow a business from scratch. And one of the things that I thought about was, we need to be customers. We need to use being a customer to create a customer. Listen this through. Use being a customer to create a customer. So guy comes to cut down the tree and I say, hey, do you have a website? He doesn't have a website. He did an amazing job. He didn't charge us near enough money. Just going to be honest with you. He didn't charge us near enough money for the amount of work that he did. And so I talked to my wife about it and I said, hey, it might almost be an insult to hand him like another $500, right? I don't know. He gave us a quote. We paid him. Everything's good, right? I said, but I want to do something nice for him because he worked his butt off. And I want to give people a hand up, not a handout, hand up, right? So real quickly, I came in my office. I fired up a hosting package on the website. I reserved a URL that matched his last name. So I did, his last name tree service. So his last name tree.com is what it is. His last name tree.com. And so reserve the URL, immediately build a hosting package, build a 5-page website, just a simple brochure, salesy website that says, hey, if you need a tree cut down, call me. I'm responsive. I'm fun. I won't cost you an arm and a leg. I'll get it done. And so I made him the website, gave him email to go with it. And we're going to help him configure the email so all the notifications go straight to his iPhone, all those things, right? So when I gave him the website, I said, look, it's yours. You do whatever you want with it. Like you could let it expire. I'm going to cover it for a year. I'm going to cover the website and the hosting and the maintenance for a year, for 1 year. I said, that's going to get you a head start. Now, at the end of that year, this website's yours. It's not mine, it's yours. You can do anything you want with it. You can migrate it somewhere else. You can let it expire if you don't like it. You can change it. You can, if you want to keep it with us, you can. Our hosting package includes maintenance, and this is how much it would cost if you want to do that on a month-to-month basis. But I'm going to cover the first year, so don't even worry about it for a year. What do you think's going to happen? What do you think's going to happen? One of two things. Either the end of the year is going to come and he's going to realize, I really don't want a website. It happens. Small town, service oriented business, he might not want a website. He's getting enough referrals, word of mouth anyway, right? So maybe he doesn't want a website and he lets it expire. The other side of the coin is we built it, we host it, we maintain it. The year goes by. On the first day of the month, so on August 1st, 2027, he's going to get an invoice. That's just how that's going to work, right? So he'll have a choice. He'll say, hey, Kurt, I really don't want to pay the invoice. Can we just let it expire? Or he's going to say, hey, Kurt, I could probably host it somewhere else cheaper. Is it okay if I migrate it? That could happen. Probably won't happen, but it could happen. Or he'll just say, oh, okay, I'm just going to pay this invoice because it showed up. And I'm going to charge him every month for the rest of his life. Use being a customer to create a customer. Now, not only that, this is now someone else locally that I've made a website for. So I've done the website for Pleasant View, the business directory. I've done the website for Tom and Dan's, which they're in that same situation. They're barely even using that website, but it's there. I'm doing a local website, like I told you at the beginning of this call. That's going to be an e-commerce, international distribution website. And so the more that I'm getting my feet in with these local folks, the more that things begin to solidify, expand. As Chris Badgett would say, land and expand, right? So I've landed in Hutchinson and I'm expanding. And so I take a lot of opportunities to do sites locally. I donate the website to the local mountain bike team, hutchcomposites.com. So if you go to hutchcomposites.com, I made the site, I host the site, I maintain the site, I created a donation link because they're a nonprofit. I supervise the donations that come through the site. We decided to hook it up to a Printify account, so we drop ship through Printify, or Printify, right? That's the name of it. So t-shirts, sweatshirts, hats, they do fundraising with merchandise through the website, and we donate that. And then our logo ends up being, one of the sponsors that shows up, at all of the race events. So that's one of the things that we do to get in the space. So fitness focus, right? Fitness focus. Freedom. Let's talk about freedom while I just got done mowing the lawn. Freedom this week looks a lot different. It looks a lot different than what I usually talk about. My foot hurts. I'm not going biking. Freedom this week has been like, I'll give you a great example. Monday, I come in my office. It's dark. I didn't turn the lights on. I went to turn the fan on, and I knocked over a hard drive. This hard drive is what I've been working out of for like the last year plus. And it stopped working. Like the hard drive just stopped working. I was able to order an NAS, which is a different type of hard drive, right? So I ordered an NAS for the home office. That means that all of the units that we have, all the laptops, computers, phones, everything can connect to this NAS. And now we'll store all of our documents in a shared network drive inside the house. That to me is a great example of freedom. That hard drive dropping on Monday could have been the end of my week. I mean, I thought, oh my goodness, the sun's not even up yet. I've already ruined the week. How am I going to do work for my clients? And then it hit me. You know what? I got a client portal that people put their files in. I've got, original emails with attachments. If I need to find something, I can find it. And I've got previous backups of stuff, from the last 18 years of being in business. I've got backups of all that stuff. And so what was that hard drive really worth to me? I mean, there were some videos on there from mountain biking in Colorado last month. And I had been developing a website for somebody, but I can recreate all of the assets pretty quickly that were already in there. Um, and since most of my work ends up online, almost all the assets are already online. It occurred to me through this process, and this is where freedom comes in. It occurred to me throughout this process that I had been saving so much data, so much stuff I didn't even need. I looked at why. Here comes James Lau. He's hilarious. Why did the robot cross the road? Because it had a hard drive. That's hilarious, James. Well, I didn't have a hard drive. As of Monday, mine broke. Um, and I would love to say, oh, it ruined my week, or it was a panic, or it was, I was upset for about 2 hours. I was upset for about 2 hours until I really gave it thought. And I thought to myself, I have every thumbnail for every Ask Us Anything call I've ever done for Lifter LMS. I have those thumbnails, had those thumbnails in that hard drive. I had recordings of every Ask Us Anything call, of every office hours call. I had the raw video in that hard drive. Those videos had already been reposted to Facebook and YouTube and all that stuff. So why was I saving it on my hard drive? And it's Lifter LMS's stuff. Why am I saving all this stuff? There's a place in Oklahoma that says they can probably do data recovery. And I was immediately going to, sign it. Whatever it takes, I got to get that data out of there. And then the freedom came of realizing, wait a minute, I don't have to pay $2,000 or $3,000 to get these, multiple terabytes of data out of this hard drive. What I really need to do is evaluate as an agency how I've been maintaining data and for who I'm maintaining it for. I started thinking about it, like thinking about the amount of data that was in that hard drive. For example, Talking Hands, Talking Feet. Lovely lady. Her name's Melanie. She lives in New Mexico. She has a wonderful program where they teach grade school kids all over the globe educational stuff through song and dance. And it's a wonderful project. But I haven't worked on that project in 5 years. I don't need that stuff sitting on my external hard drive, taking up space and making me think I'm responsible for it. And so what would have been a catastrophe actually ended up being one of these like gifts. It's an absolute gift that within 3-4 days, I got a better backup system, right? I've been looking at these things for a month and a half, and I was going to buy one last month, and I didn't want to spend the money, and I held back, and I didn't buy it. And if I would have bought it a month ago, I wouldn't have had any problems with losing a hard drive because everything would have been backed up in that thing anyway. But what would I have done? I would have backed up, terabytes of stuff that I didn't need to back up. And now that that hard drive is gone, and I had a chance to evaluate what we actually do as an agency, what are we responsible for? What are we responsible for? What do the contracts stipulate? What do we need to keep on hand? I realized I don't need to keep any of this stuff on hand. I've been babysitting this data, acting like it's the gold at the end of the rainbow for the last half a decade, and I didn't need to keep any of the stuff. I could have just, as soon as these projects were published, I could have just deleted those files and moved on, especially for clients that were like contracts, like to do something and then someone else is running it, like someone else is the general contractor, right? The way I think about things. Like sometimes we subcontract. I subcontract through Lifter LMS. I subcontract through WP Tonic. And so, Jonathan runs WP Tonic. That's his company. I don't need to keep all of his customers' files on my hard drive. That's silly. That's his job. He can take care of his customers' data. And that was the realization. That's the freedom that came to me this week. So fitness, focus, freedom, Friday. Like I said, I know it's late. I ended up making a semi-political post yesterday after the Fauci, plead the fifth moment. And then there were some comments I saw from other people, and I'm not spending a bunch of time in this. I'm not. So I'm just seeing what pops up in my feed, like the most aggravated stuff pulls up in my feed. And some people were like, funny how everybody's worried about Fauci now. Nobody cares about the war. Nobody cares. It's not that nobody cares about the war. It's not that nobody cares about the Hormuz Strait. Not that anybody cares about the price of a gallon of gas, right? But there's also this resident angst, this hard feeling from going through the pandemic of realizing, and you could argue whatever direction you went. I don't care what direction you went. You got vaccinated, you didn't get vaccinated, you wore a mask, you wore 2 masks, you wore 3 masks, you didn't wear any mask, you stayed home, you went out dancing, you went, like, I don't care. I don't care what decisions you made then. What bothers me is the way people treat each other through the process. I chose not to get vaccinated. I chose not to participate in the show. And I was unemployed for a lot of that time. I had a hard time getting contracts through that time. I was told I was going to kill grandma. I was told I would make other people sick. I was told, actually, I had people say, I hope your children get sick and die. It would serve you right. Like, those were the things people said during the pandemic. And now, but see, nothing was lining up for me. And I get it. Everyone's got their own thoughts on this thing. But like when they would say 6 feet safe, or wear a mask, or don't wear a mask, or we can go to Home Depot, but we can't go to the farmer's market. You can't go to church, but the strip club's got to be open because they're essential businesses. Like, that's literally what we were living in California at the time. And none of it was making sense. There was no alignment for me. And because there was no alignment, I could not bring myself to agree to the narrative that they were putting forward. Other people may have seen things differently, and that's fine. What really bothered me, though, was the way people treated each other. There used to be a time where you would have your thoughts, or you would have your opinions, and your neighbors didn't hate you for it. You would have a beer or whatever, you go, that's crazy Tommy, right? Well, okay, well, it's crazy Tommy, whatever. But you didn't say, I hope crazy Tommy's kids die. That would serve crazy Tommy right. Like, no, that's like, it's just crazy. And so I have a lot of I would love to say I've grown past it and I'm done with it, but I have a lot of pent up frustration in the leadership of those days that not only enabled but encouraged people to behave in these ways. And so when all this stuff continues to come out, it does get my attention. It does boil me up a little bit. And what's funny is I have friends and family completely on the other side of the equation from me. And I'll say, oh, it's really crazy. All this stuff's coming out with Fauci and these trials and stuff. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Oh, no. In fact, I got to go get my booster. And I'm just like, wow. Okay. Again, no shade. You do you. If that's the decision you've made and how you want to take care of yourself, that's fine. I say Fitness Focus Freedom Friday, and I go out and race mountain bikes with a partially broken foot. That's probably not the best use case or the best example of fitness, but I have a competitive edge. And fitness to me is more than does my foot hurt or not. Fitness to me is also the mental capacity to compete. And I wanted to make sure that, hey, I signed up for this race. I'm going to give it an effort, and I'm going to see what I get. By the way, in case you missed it, I got 5th place in the downhill, and I got 7th place in the marathon race. Not bad for cruising around with a broken, swollen foot. All right. Folks, have a great weekend. I love these messages on Friday. I try to end them on a positive note. The temperatures are still warm here in Kansas, but it's cooler than it was. And so I've got meat defrosting. I'm actually gonna start brining some pork belly so that in another week and a half I'll make some more smoked bacon. I love making my own bacon. We got some stuff defrosting so we can cook out over the weekend. And other than that, folks, I just want to encourage you: Fitness Focus Freedom Friday. Get active. Think about your mental fitness. Focus on something so you can knock it out of the park. Enjoy the freedoms that we get through that, right? Through the work and the reward. Enjoy the freedoms. And when it's Friday, sometimes you got to take a moment, pat yourself on the back, and say, dang, I made it through another week. James, if you're still on, have yourself a great weekend. Love you, brother. Have yourself a good one. And You might notice I used the whole blowing it up and keeping it real video when I opened. The last couple of videos I've gone live with, I have a logo video that pops up and spins around. And somebody named Divi has been claiming copyright infringement and getting my video blocked. I'm not even that popular. Barely anybody watches these videos. So I have no idea what it is. It's my logo. I made it in videos with a licensed version of videos using their stock sound. It's not even music. It's like that. But the first 10 seconds of my videos is what this person has flagged, whoever this is. And they say that their username is Divi. And they have flagged me for copyright infringement, what it is. So apparently I got to remake my own logo, animate my own logo and remake that with a different sound or something. I don't even know how to phrase it. That's a really weird one for me, but that answers that, if in case you're wondering why the look of the video changed. I'm going to close out with the mountain bike trailer. Have yourselves a great weekend.